Manchester United isn't just a football club, it's a global institution, a brand recognized in every corner of the world. For decades, the name has been synonymous with success, with winning, with a certain swagger. This is the club of the Busby Babes, who rose from tragedy to conquer Europe. It's the club of Sir Alex Ferguson, a manager who built dynasties and filled a trophy cabinet to bursting point. He created a fortress at Old Trafford. Opponents feared to tread there. Legends were forged in the fires of competition. The history is immense, a tapestry of glory, drama, and an unwavering expectation of excellence. This legacy, however, comes with a heavy burden. Every player who pulls on that famous red shirt carries the weight of all who came before. It often seems like there's a well-trodden path leading directly from the Old Trafford dressing room to the television studio. You can't watch a weekend of football without seeing a familiar face who once wore the United crest. The likes of Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Rio Ferdinand. But why is this? It's a combination of factors. Firstly, their success grants them immediate authority. When a player who has won multiple Premier League titles and a Champions League speaks, people listen. They have been there and done it, giving their words a credibility that few others can match. Secondly, these players are products of the Sir Alex Ferguson era, a time when Manchester United dominated the headlines. Media outlets know that having these individuals on their panels is a guaranteed way to attract viewers. They bring with them a built-in audience of millions of United fans, as well as supporters of rival clubs who are eager to hear what they have to say. Their opinions generate clicks, spark debates, and drive engagement, which is the currency of modern sports media. They are, quite simply, box office. There is also the simple fact that these players are articulate, passionate, and often brutally honest. They were leaders on the pitch, and that translates naturally to the role of a pundit. No group of ex-players embodies this phenomenon more than the famed class of '92, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Nicky Butt, Ryan Giggs, Phil Neville. They weren't just teammates, they were brothers who came through the academy together and conquered the world. Their bond with each other and with the club is incredibly deep, forged through years of shared sacrifice and unprecedented success. This shared history gives them a unique platform. When they speak about Manchester United, they do so not just as pundits, but as guardians of a legacy they personally built. Their voices carry the weight of that treble-winning season in 1999. Gary Neville, in his role at Sky Sports, has become one of the most influential voices in English football. His analysis is often sharp, detailed, and unsparing. He has been a vocal critic of the club's ownership, the Glazer family, and has repeatedly lamented the lack of a coherent strategy since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement. Paul Scholes, on the other hand, was famously quiet as a player but has become remarkably outspoken as a pundit. His criticisms are often blunt and focused on the quality of football on the pitch. He has frequently expressed his frustration with what he perceives as a lack of creativity and ambition in the team's play, once stating he wouldn't even enjoy playing in the side himself. When Scholes says the football is boring or lacks identity, it lands with a heavy thud, reinforcing the narrative that the club has lost its way. It's not just the class of '92 who are vocal. The chorus includes other titans of the club's history, none more formidable than Roy Keane. As a captain, Keane embodied the ferocious, never-say-die spirit of Ferguson's greatest teams. As a pundit, he has weaponized that same intensity. His critiques are legendary for their brutality and sheer lack of diplomacy. He once famously said after a poor performance, "I am disgusted with the players, they are cheating the supporters." He has questioned players' heart, he has questioned players' desire, he has questioned players' professionalism, often suggesting they are not fit to wear the shirt. Keane's words are like thunderclaps, impossible to ignore. Rio Ferdinand, another former captain, a defensive rock for years. Through his vibe with Five Platform, he offers a more modern, fan-centric perspective, but he doesn't pull his punches. He has been highly critical of the club's transfer dealings and often expresses bewilderment at the lack of leadership on the pitch. After one damaging defeat, he spoke of a lack of fight and a culture where players seem to be hiding. The constant commentary from Manchester United's ex-players is a true double-edged sword, bringing both clear benefits and significant damage. On the positive side, their voices provide a vital form of accountability. In an era where football clubs are often tightly controlled corporate entities, these pundits act as an independent check on power. They ask the difficult questions that internal media channels would never dare to. When Gary Neville criticizes the ownership, Roy Keane lambasts player effort, they are voicing the raw frustration of millions of fans worldwide. This can galvanize the fan base and apply pressure on the board to make necessary changes. Their analysis can also be incredibly insightful. These are drops in standards that the average spectator might miss. By highlighting these issues, they can educate the fan base and foster a more sophisticated understanding of the situation at Manchester United feels unique compared to other elite clubs. Take Liverpool, for example. Jamie Carragher, Graham Souness. Liverpool navigated its transition under Jurgen Klopp. They created a new era of glory. That recent success softens critiques. Carragher may criticize a poor performance, but it's against recent tangible success. Similarly, Arsenal, Ian Wright, Thierry Henry are passionate and often critical, but the tone is supportive frustration because the recent context is different. Chelsea and Manchester City's narratives are shaped by recent investment-driven success. Their ex-players' critiques sit alongside tangible results. Ex-player media culture is less established at some clubs. Their narratives are more about present and future. Their narrative is about present and future. United is distinct because of an abrupt decline and a large number of media-savvy, successful ex-players. Sir Alex Ferguson's departure in 2013 created a power vacuum. Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, they saw a cliff edge. That contrast fuels intense, persistent commentary. TV headlines quoting ex-players and social media reaction keep the story alive, making United's past haunt its present. The dynamic between Manchester United and its former players has created what can only be described as the Old Trafford echo chamber. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that shapes the club's narrative. Visual psychographic, poor result, pundit criticism, media headlines, fan anger, pressure on club, back to start. The cycle begins on the pitch with a poor performance or a bad result. Immediately the cameras pan to the pundits. Keane, Neville, Ferdinand. Their sharp emotional critiques provide the sound bites that will dominate the news cycle for the next 48 hours. These quotes are then dissected on social media, debated on radio phone-ins and printed as back-page headlines, amplifying the initial criticism tenfold. This media storm then directly impacts the mood within the fan base. The legend's words validate the fans' own frustrations, giving them a powerful and credible voice. A supporter's angry tweet might be ignored, but when Roy Keane says the players gave up, it becomes an established fact. This creates immense pressure that filters back to the club. The manager has to face questions based on the pundit's comments in his press conference. The echo chamber ensures that a single defeat is not just a defeat, it becomes a full-blown crisis framed by the legends of yesterday. For Manchester United to truly move forward, there needs to be a recalibration of the relationship between the club and its vocal legends. This isn't about silencing them. Their voices are too important. Their right to an opinion is undeniable. Instead, it's about fostering a more constructive dialogue. The club could create more formal private channels for these influential figures to share their insights. Imagine Gary Neville invited to share observations directly with the club's hierarchy. Imagine Rio Ferdinand doing the same, all of it away from the glare of television cameras. That would let the club benefit from their experience without the public fallout. The ex-players, in turn, could consider the impact of their words and the platform they command. Brutal honesty makes for great television, but there's a difference between constructive criticism and what can feel like personal attacks. They could balance critiques with context, acknowledging the difficulties of the modern game and the immense pressure current players face. Highlight potential solutions or pathways forward rather than just focusing on the problems. Shifting the tone towards something more hopeful. Maintain the high standards they demand, but build up rather than tear down. Ambassadorial roles, mentoring programs for academy players, advisory positions. Make them feel like valued insiders again, and it might temper the need to shout from the outside. It gives them a stake in the club's success beyond emotional investment. Ultimately, both sides want the same thing: a successful Manchester United competing for the biggest trophies. Working together can transform the narrative from a club haunted by its past to one inspired by it, finally allowing a new generation to write its own chapter of glory. Final. The club must listen and the legends must recognize the power they wield.